Buford Drive, Highway 20, heavily congested, if not completely blocked right now. I'm seeing bumper-to-bumper traffic almost between I-85 and 985. If you're not too familiar with the area, Mall of Georgia kind of sits right in between 985 and I-85, with Buford Drive, Highway 20 being the main access road off of both those interstates. Now, Mall of Georgia Boulevard, that basically surrounds most of the mall. There are some smaller streets that go in and around that mall. Mall of Georgia Drive, actually, and then Woodward Drive. They get closer towards the mall. All of those are going to be extremely congested. One of the routes that I wanted to give you, which was Gravel Springs Road off of I-85, I'm now starting to see a lot more congestion along that. I would assume police are trying to reroute some of this traffic, not only away from the scene, but obviously away from the mall itself. Now, from what I understand, the mall remains open. Obviously, specific areas will be blocked off where police are, but you want to kind of stay towards the northwest side, which is off Gravel Springs Road. If you're familiar, it's near the Gwinnett County Tag office. There's a Sam's Club up to the north off of Gravel Springs Road, and then the Target, which of course is north of Mall of Georgia. But again, that's going to put you in that heavily traveled area of Highway 20, Buford Drive. Now, if you're looking to avoid this entire area and you are up there, 985 is wide open. That is your best bet. North and southbound along 985. That'll push you past Buford Drive, connects with I-85, and keeps you well away from the mall itself, because right now we're seeing a lot of heavy congestion. Again, a lot of folks are out and about doing some weekend shopping. A lot of folks are taking to the streets now. It's time to get out of town. So things are only going to get more congested from here on out. In fact, I'm seeing delays on Buford Drive, oh my goodness gracious, that are stretching all the way back towards Old Peachtree Road, and that is well south of I-85. So you don't want to be heading on Highway 20, Buford Drive, anywhere south or north of the Mall of Georgia. It has become extremely congested. And again, Gravel Springs, which not too long ago was a pretty decent alternate, has also filled itself up. So folks, again, if you don't have any business anywhere near the Mall of Georgia, just stay away from the area, because this is only going to get more and more congested. Stick with 985. That is your best bet, whether you're heading north or southbound. Now remember, GDOT has suspended all construction. There are no more closures as of noon this afternoon. So you don't have to worry about construction. We know there's a lot of construction up along I-85 and 985, especially up towards Jackson County. You have nothing to worry about there. You can use 985. You can use Highway 23 through Swanee. Things are looking pretty good there. But the closer we get towards Mall of Georgia, not just Highway 20, but Gravel Springs and even south of I-85 on Highway 20 are now heavily congested. I would not recommend going anywhere near those. Ariana?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Crash. This is happening at a very busy time. You know, we were talking about how a lot of people, they're traveling, they're flying out. So this is impacting more areas than just the Mall of America at this time, especially with the roads leading into that area that's blocked off. And once again, we want to give you one more live look before we go of the area around the Mall of Georgia where this took place. Just a recap of what we know so far. We know that the victim was stabbed at the Macy's. We know that the suspect was shot. We don't know exactly who shot the suspect, but we do know that the GBI, they've been contacted to conduct an officer-involved shooting. We're still working to get more information about the suspect, of the victim, as well as the condition of the suspect. We have crews out there right now trying to collect more information. As you see, this investigation is very active. We're seeing at least 3 different scenes that police are working through. They have the parking lot about a block away taped off. You see the intersection at the Mall of Georgia Boulevard. That's also taped off. And we've seen police go in and out of side of that gray pickup truck right now. And then also they're still investigating where the actual incident took place, and that is inside the Macy's. And we also got information from a mom who says that her daughter actually worked inside of the mall, and she said that she had to go to the mall and told her daughter to call 911.
Yeah, those frantic calls. You can imagine parents that are checking on, teens often go to the malls, especially after school hours. So thankfully we're not in that crunch period yet, but you can imagine if you have a family member that's just saying, hey, I just wanted to go pop out shopping to the mall. they're making those calls right now. So again, we'll be staying in touch with that. But you can also see that it looks like there's more than one agency on scene, which is what we typically see in this type of large scale event. A lot of agency cooperation between the various departments. Gwinnett Police, I see responding right there. Gwinnett Fire also on scene, according to some of the Twitter videos. Again, a lot of intention, as you mentioned, Ariana, on that gray pickup truck. So we'll be checking in with police to see more details regarding that as well. But again, Labor Day weekend. This is something where an already busy kind of shopping time leading up to the mall. And then people right now, this is not the way you want to start your holiday.
Yeah, and we want to bring you the latest information on the situation because, like you said, it's Labor Day weekend. A lot of people are off today. They're headed to the Mall of Georgia. A lot of people were actually inside. This happened about an hour ago. As I mentioned, you had a mom who got that frantic call from her daughter who was working. And just think about the people who were actually inside shopping. So
we actually just heard a mom was taking her daughter shopping for a homecoming dress.
Yes, inside of the Macy's. So once again, police, they are focusing on what we see so far from the 11 Alive Sky Tracker. They are focused on 3 different scenes. We see that they have the entrance to the Macy's blocked off. We're going to zoom out for you, and at the bottom right side of your screen, we're going to see where the Sky Tracker is taking us. You can see from this point, you can see how there's traffic building up. Crash Clark, he told you to avoid the area if you do not have to go towards the Mall of Georgia. And this is another scene that police have been focused on since we've been on air. As of right now, we see at least about 10 police cars from different agencies focused on that one area. And then over to the right side, it looks like in the parking lot of the Burlington, the DSW, police are also, they're focused on that parking lot as well. We're going to see if we go to it. You see police, they're walking over to that parking lot that I just mentioned.
And as you said earlier, again, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, they have been called to the scene, which is typical sometimes when that officer is involved. We don't have those details confirmed yet, but are working that as well. So just to recap all the information, we had that victim stabbed, a suspect shot. A lot of details still murky at this time as police gather their information. Obviously, the investigation is still very in the early stages. Are we coming up on an hour since kind of a crew went out there and they're busy gathering that information on scene, talking to people who were standing by. And then we're also getting those calls into the newsroom. Again, a mom just taking her daughter shopping for a homecoming dress, and then this all is unfolding, that victim being stabbed.
Okay, and this is a look at I-85. We do know that police, they're redirecting traffic. Crash Clark, he told us the main exit, Buford Drive on I-85, is completely blocked off. We want to bring Crash back in because he knows the highways like the back of his hand. So Crash, we know this investigation could go on for some time now. Give us some updates on what you're seeing on the road right now.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see, Ariana. If you guys did have this particular camera pulled up here, in case the directors are listening to me, I know you guys are. Remote 55 to pull up the Georgia DOT cameras, and what we're seeing is Highway 20 police are rerouting traffic off Highway 20 Buford Drive away from the mall. So they're not going to allow any more traffic to get near here. And I was looking at some of the store. There's a store called Kirkland's that was over there. Gwinnett County Police are directing traffic out of that particular area. So it looks like what they're attempting to do so they can continue to conduct their investigation is to get as much of this traffic that is already within the perimeter of the Mall of Georgia itself away. And then as we were looking at here, right on Highway 20, this is just south of I-85, they are redirecting traffic. In fact, it looks like they're just directing that traffic back along I-85. So they're not even going to allow any traffic to go near the mall. I would assume they are doing the same thing to the northern side of Highway 20 Buford Drive. So there's no sense in even attempting to get near this scene because they're just going to funnel you away from that, and that includes what we were looking at, Highway 20, Buford Drive. They're pushing you back to I-85, back on the expressway where they want you to stay away. Obviously, Gravel Springs Road is a big go-to between Highway 20 and I-85. That, too, is just bumper to bumper. So I think police are going to continue to do this by funneling traffic away from the scene so they can conduct this investigation. It's best to just say, if you've got no business near the Mall of Georgia, avoid it for quite some time. Obviously, we'll continue to update you not only online on air, 11alive.com, but I'll be sending out some traffic tweets as well. So make sure you follow us at 11alive Traffic. And as soon as they start to clear the scene, which is probably going to be quite a while, we will certainly let you know. Back to you guys.
Definitely. That will be super helpful, because at this time, we don't know how long this investigation will go on for. Once again, we got this information about 2 hours ago. And as we see that it's having an impact on the traffic, this happened at a Macy's, but it just shows you how one situation can have such a major impact on the surrounding areas, especially if people are expected to hit the road Labor Day weekend. As you mentioned, Liza, there's people in there shopping, employees getting those frantic calls in. It looks like police are allowing some traffic to go in. Once again, Crash, he says the main exit of Buford Drive and I-85 is completely blocked off, so try to avoid that area if you can. Okay, it looks like the highway. Yeah, it looks like they're. Okay, Crash, you want to come in?
Yeah, I didn't know if you still had me on here. Yeah, we're looking at the same thing here. This is the GDOT camera, which is just on Highway 20. And as we were watching, they were directing traffic back to I-85. It looks like they have reopened that particular stretch of Highway 20, which is interesting because all that's going to do is butt heads with everybody that's closer to the mall. So I don't know what their strategy is. Obviously, they know what they're doing. They know what areas they want to block off. This could be a particular area just south of I-20 where they deemed it safe, where people can go ahead and head north on Highway 20 Buford Drive. It may be blocked further down the road. In fact, it almost looks like it might be. So, again, just avoid this area.
Okay, thank you.
And I was actually looking just now. There's been no response on social media from Mall of Georgia as of yet. Obviously, our team will be reaching out to them to get their perspective on this. I'm sure they're also focused on the police response in the area, making sure everyone is safe. But that's something that we'll be watching as well. Obviously, security and malls has been a top topic of conversation in the metro area for various reasons. And we're going to continue to stay in touch with them. We also have our Joe Hinkie, who's on the scene, as well as Cody Alcorn. So several teams out there at the Mall of Georgia gathering information as we speak. Obviously, a very fluid situation, Ariana, that has been unfolding. And as you said, at least that traffic in some cases has looked like police are letting them go through, but still very much an active investigation. And
I also want to, Joe Hinkie, as you mentioned, he's on the scene collecting information, and he did send over a photo for us. If we can go to that to see, this is the exit of the Macy's. We've seen this same shot from the 11 Alive Sky Tracker. This is an up-close shot where you can see that police, they do have that entrance and that portion of the Macy's blocked off at this time. Eliza.
So obviously our crews will be continuing to gather information. 11alive.com, we are posting the very latest, and as Crash said, he is our go-to traffic expert, so he will be tweeting out updates too. Obviously we're glad to see that exit open, but still a lot of unanswered questions from police at this point. I know it sounds like they're gathering, and here we have a social media video, Ariana.
And before we go, I just want to give you a recap of what we know so far. This is a very active and fluid situation. The information we have from police at this time was that a victim was stabbed inside of the Macy's. What we're learning is that at the jewelry counter, and that suspect was shot. We don't know who shot the suspect, but we do know that the GBI, they've been asked to step in to conduct an officer-involved shooting. As we get more information from our crews on the ground, we will be sure to update you, as well as traffic surrounding the area. Be sure to stay tuned to 11alive.com.
Traffic expert.
We've seen delays almost 30 minutes worth of
helps you get there on time, every time. 11 Alive Morning News is where you start the day prepared. Watch weekdays 5 to 7 a.m.
If you see breaking news or severe weather near you, snap it and share it using Near Me on the 11 Alive News app. Want to verify if something's true or false? Record your question and send it. Download the 11 Alive News app to use Near Me.
11 Alive News at 11 p.m. is where you find out what's happening now across Metro Atlanta.
We begin tonight with breaking news out of Cobb County, where a neighborhood is now...
where you stay a step ahead of severe weather.
Our storm risk has now been upgraded to a...
and the only place where you can verify fact versus fiction.
11 Alive can verify that claim is false.
11 Alive News at 11 p.m., where you end the day ready to take on tomorrow. Weather can't run from the 11 Alive Thunder Truck. A mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11 Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Dodge. Fighting social inequality is on all of us. That's why 11 Alive is committed to sharing diverse perspectives, exposing injustice, and finding solutions. Voices for Equality, sponsored by Georgia Power and our other partners. The 11 Alive Storm Trackers. It's how you see weather happening now across Metro Atlanta.
These severe storms are now closing in.
We could be talking about damaging winds, hail, and
How you can plan ahead by knowing what's coming overhead.
Heavy storms are rolling in.
Expect pop-up thunderstorms and rain all day long.
And how you'll be weather ready wherever you are.
We expect at any moment a tornado warning could be issued.
The 11 Alive Storm Trackers. It's how you'll be prepared and stay safe. 11 Alive Morning News.
we began with breaking news this
is
morning.
where you know what's happening now.
11 Alive is live on the scene.
Where you can confidently plan ahead
This severe weather is intensifying.
by knowing what's coming overhead. And where Atlanta's traffic expert
We've seen delays almost 30 minutes worth of
helps you
driving.
get there on time, every time. 11 Alive Morning News is where you start the day prepared. Watch weekdays 5 to 7 a.m.
If you see breaking news or severe weather near you, snap it and share it using Near Me on the 11 Alive News app. Want to verify if something's true or false? Record your question and send it. Download the 11 Alive News app to use Near Me.
11 Alive News at 11 p.m. is where you find out what's happening now across Metro Atlanta.
We begin tonight with breaking news out of Cobb County, where a neighborhood is now
Where you stay a step ahead of severe weather.
Our storm risk has now been upgraded to a...
And the only place where you can verify fact versus fiction.
11 Alive can verify that claim is false.
11 Alive News at 11 p.m. Where you end the day ready to take on tomorrow. Weather can't run from the 11 Alive Thunder Truck. A mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11 Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Dodge. Fighting